Hello again and welcome back to another one, and today we have a couple of topics to cover, including one that's become the red rose and white ceilings of social media, and I'm talking about Eminem getting dragged on a weekly basis on platforms like X, also known as Twitter.
Look, red rose, white ceiling.
Yeah. Red rose, white ceiling. Red rose, white ceiling.
Red rose, white ceiling. Let's check it, look. Red rose, white ceiling.
And this time around, a post set things off that brought out all the people with hurt feelings over some of the moves Eminem has made in recent years, and we'll expand on this in a moment. Today we also have more from the co-host of My Expert Opinion, Mecc, who gave a shout out to Eminem when he was discussing some of the latest issues that the show is facing due to the landlord of the barbershop and more, and we'll expand on this in a moment. And today we also have one that came out of left field that takes us back months ago when Dr. Umar had some spicy things to say about Eminem on Joe Budden's podcast, where he revealed that no non-African can be the best of anything in hip-hop. And if you recall, back then a lot of people fired back at Dr. Umar, stressing on the point that he had more pressing matters to address, like the school that he's been building for a decade now. And today we have a clip that made a comeback that shows whatever you do, never ask Dr. Umar about the school, and we'll get to this at the latter part of the video, as users on social media didn't pull their punches. And today we'll be starting with Eminem getting a shout out from Mecc, a co-host on My Expert Opinion, and we got to hear about this from the Rory and Mal podcast, where they briefly spoke about the barbershop situation right now, as they are facing issues with the landlord that's put the future of the show in jeopardy. Check out a snippet from the Rory and Mal podcast.
Like when Esso and Heineken left, I'm sure the interviews in the beginning were a little different because part of that show was gone. A chemistry was gone.
Sure.
You have a very specific set of questions. Mm-hmm. Math has a very specific, that's why the show was so great. Mm-hmm. So many different perspectives. As a leader, I do feel like you should keep your team involved in some of what's going on with that info, because they also are going to have to move this show with the decisions that you make. And just showing up and be like, oh, they're not here, and now I got to figure this out. Wish I would have known.
I'm past that point in my career. I'm not trying to sound like Mr. Cool, but if I'm being honest, I've been in places with high turnover.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I know what that's like. It's not pleasant. I thought that team put numbers on the board in a real way. Me, Esso, Heineken, Math, Bigger, Space Ghost. That was the unit that Eminem shouted out. Mm-hmm. First rapper to ever big us up just out of nowhere. Hey, those guys know what the fuck that was amazing.
Yeah.
Right? Shout out to M for that. I never forgot that. Mm-hmm. That was the unit that put numbers on the board. Now the unit's changed. Is beefing about it gonna change that?
No, just get more clicks.
I tried to, and this story is out. I tried to set up the dinner for all of us to sit down and air out our grievances. Bigger had the spot in Little Italy. We were all supposed to meet up. S.O. Heineken, Space Ghost, me, Bigger, Math. We were all supposed to sit down and have the conversation. It did not happen.
Why?
Math said he wasn't going.
Okay.
And again, this is public information.
Yeah, of course.
Said it. He said he wasn't going.
Damn.
And apparently the landlord has a problem with what they were doing in the barbershop, as he reportedly wants barbers actively working in the shop rather than what it was used for. And of course this sparks split reactions, although some have expanded. If you are a landlord with a storefront for particular use, the tenants cannot do anything they want as long as they pay rent. That's not how it works. The other side is you can ask or notify the landlord that you would like to use the space in a different way, but they should be put in writing, or if the relationship is healthy, you can come to an agreement on a handshake. Math didn't enter the lease or have an agreement with the landlord. I think he said he was subleasing from the original tenant, which means he really didn't have any right or a contractual agreement with the landlord. And some have concluded all Math needs is a new location, and to being back to the cast that's favored. Him not doing so or being able to do so is telling on his behalf. Suffice to say that many of the users are blaming Math for how he handled the podcast. And moving on to the next point, a popular page on X solely dedicated to finding, quote, mentally challenged people recently set up Eminem to get dragged by posting this 9 out of 10 mentally challenged. And boy, this was like a call out to everyone on X who's got issues with how Eminem has conducted himself over the past few years, as this sparked a pile on, and we got takes like, I miss prime Eminem, the one from 25 years ago, which got this response, same. That's why he got 1 point deducted. And to this, some users have fired back with, this proves that you're an actual mentally challenged person though, because he never changed, he's still doing the same thing he was years ago. The only difference is, you turned into a tool, laughing my bum off. And boy, now they are hurling allegations at Eminem like he was Diddy, with takes like, pretty sure they have evidence of him diddling kids, if I had to guess.
Am I being punked?
And boy, they kept going. Used to absolutely love him when I was young, such a waste and disappointment. And to this a user fired back with, why do you determine what music you support based off political views? That's so ridiculous, loudly crying emoji. And these people really believe that Eminem changed in recent years, as they kept going. Yeah, once I saw him speak about politics, I stopped listening to him completely. The old Eminem would be sick knowing he's turned into this. And we got much more where this came from, as another user expanded, dude, I'm so ashamed. I used to totally love this guy's music back in my 20s. I haven't heard any of his albums in over 15 years now, and if you saw our recent video, it turns out that it didn't matter, because according to Luminate's latest index, Eminem turned out to be the #1 rapper for the first quarter of 2025. Not to say that I'm invalidating someone's feelings, but it is what it is, and it turns out in this case, boycotting his new music hasn't done much to change his position, and some users are now firing back with takes like, anyone who thinks Eminem turned left never listened to Eminem, just listen to Square Dance and White America, loudly crying and folded hands emoji, he will always be the GOAT in my eyes. And some have now concluded, comment section full of dumb clowns telling each other exactly. And to this a user expanded, always hated people who pretend like they were M fans, quote, I miss the old Eminem of 25 years ago, like they didn't know his political stance back then, even back in 2016, 2020, shake my head. And it is even crazier that somehow most of them missed what he said on The Ringer about how he should have rewarded what he said to show that he was coming from a place of empathy rather than judgment. But like football, people already picked their teams and will stick to it regardless of the facts. And moving on to the next point, apparently there was a classic video on the web that we missed out on, even when Dr. Umar was going off on social media about how Eminem is disqualified from the GOAT discussion due to his skin shade. As back then, a lot of people were bringing up the fact that he's got a school to build, but instead is choosing to focus on something that he couldn't change. And a few hours ago, a clip made a comeback that shows whatever you do, you should never ask Dr. Umar about the school he's been building for like a decade. Check out a snippet from a conversation he had with El Jamar.
Transparency you talk about? We raised the money, the little bit left is going to repairs. What transparency you talk about? You think I'm gonna put the school bank account on YouTube?
Well, of course not. Of course not.
On Twitter? You think I'm gonna put the school bank account on Instagram? You watch your damn mind.
I think they maybe want more of a timeline of when it might open or something like that.
Catering to the haters. Don't cater
No,
to
no,
the
no,
haters.
no. It's not
Don't
catering to the
don't
haters.
look at the
We have to.
glass half
Here's what we got. Here's what we got to do,
catering
though,
to the
brother.
hate, bro.
No. It's not about catering to the hate.
It's
I'm gonna tell
catering
you
to
what
the
I'm
hate,
doing.
bro.
I'm gonna tell you what I'm doing. We have to make sure we have to vet all of our people, bro. I got love for you,
vet
bro.
Everybody, then vet them other Negroes in the conscious community who ain't building shit. Vet
Oh,
them.
we gonna get
My
to them
track
all,
record
bro.
solid, bro.
Wait,
Who
We
else
gonna
is
get
building?
to them
Who else
all.
is building?
Shamar,
Who
don't
else is building?
discriminate.
Name
Listen.
me somebody building an institution from the grass.
Right.
Name me somebody. You ain't got none of them. Name me
I
a
mean-
YouTuber doing what I'm doing. Any of them conscious dudes. Name one on my level. Name one builder. You crazy.
I
They
can't.
tie my sneaks, bro.
I can't.
They
All
ain't
I can
building
name
shit.
is my
How many kids
father-in-law.
they say? How many they kept out of jail, bro? They're not building shit.
Right,
Y'all
so-
wanna put me through the grass. What have they built, bro? Who you know in the conscious movement built an institution? Answer that. Nobody. I'm the only one in my generation doing it.
Well, you're building it. You're building it. It's not
Yeah,
built
bruh.
yet, though. It's
It'll
not built.
be there. Don't you worry about it. You be the first one there. Trust me.
Beautiful.
So I got the books. I got the resume, I got the school. So when people pop shit, I'm trying to find who else doing the work. Because all I see is people on YouTube making videos. Not y'all. I'm talking about my detractors and the other people in the conscious community. All they got is videos and DVDs. No institutions, no track record for helping nobody.
5 years later. And boy, this sparked some hilarious reactions, as users have been going off on social media with takes like grifters like Umar fold as soon as you put someone in front of them who ask them real questions. Look how emotional he's getting because what he's quote building is questioned. And boy, these users didn't pull their punches as they kept going off on Dr. Umar with more takes like quote, go after the conscious dudes who ain't building, says the conscious dude who 5 years later still ain't build nothing. I swear, you can't make this ish up. And some concluded, spoken like a true liar. And I can't believe that this clip existed and we missed it when we were covering the stories about Dr. Umar's comments on the Joe Budden podcast. Crazy. But overall, what are your thoughts on these topics? Tell us below in the comment section. Thanks for watching. And if you enjoyed this, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe for more. See you on the next one.